It is not quite true that architecture was Vincent Scully's subject. He taught about it and wrote about it for more than 6 decades, and it is not possible to imagine greater passion being brought to it. But his true life's work was always something more, something for which the buildings and the cities that are nominally his subject were but a vehicle, and that is the whole idea of human community and culture. If his work contains any overriding message, it is that architecture is part of that larger culture, and that its meaning comes from its connectedness to that larger culture. By now, it's almost a commonplace to observe that to honor Vince is almost like honoring architecture itself, which indeed it is, for he and architecture's noblest aims are virtually synonymous. But I want to say also that when we think of Vince, we think of something else as much as architecture, and that is the idea of the word and the nearly holy connection that Vince forged between architecture and language, the search to find meaning in this mysterious, profound, and glorious relationship that there can be between architecture and words. For what Vince did for his entire life was to use words, spoken words and written words both, in all their great and majestic power and beauty, as a way of helping us understand all that architecture is and can be and can mean. I first encountered him when I was 16 years old, an eager high school junior making an exploratory visit to Yale. A friend had said that since I was interested in architecture, I should try to look in at one of those lectures by this architectural history professor who, well, he didn't know quite how to characterize him, but my friend said I would not be disappointed. I was not disappointed. For 4 years, I sat in the law school auditorium. Alas, Yale would only give me credit for one of those years, but nevertheless, I kept coming back, sitting in those creaking seats, watching and listening, wallowing in words and rhythms that I loved hearing repeated again and again. His lectures were not unlike a favorite piece of music, and when you were 20 years old, you believe that any piece of music worth hearing cannot be heard too many times. Of course, hearing Scully year after year wasn't really hearing the same thing, because the lectures were never exactly the same. Part of what always made Vince so special was that every lecture was different and reflected his thinking at exactly the moment he delivered it. It's from those years of sitting in the auditorium that I learned from Vince not only about Frank Lloyd Wright, not only about Louis Kahn, not only about Robert Venturi, but about several things that are much more important than any architect. Vince taught us all that serious intellectual inquiry need not be inconsistent with passion, and that empathy is a true and legitimate part of analysis. He showed us that for all the joy there is in knowledge for its own sake, that putting knowledge to active use for social good is an even higher calling, and most important of all, that the making of architecture cannot be separated from the making of community. Indeed, that the very purpose of architecture is to make our common ground, our commonality visible, and thereby to shape a civilization over time. Vince started his career as an unabashed celebrator of the most heroic ambitions of modernism, which he came gradually to question. One of his greatest gifts as a teacher was his ability to admit to both his students and his readers that he might have been wrong about something, that he had changed his mind. Ultimately, he would come to think of urbanism as equally important to form making and to cherish older buildings so much that he became an ardent preservationist. He expressed regret, as we just saw in that clip, for failing to speak out against the demolition of McKim's Pennsylvania station, saying, in what became one of his most famous lines, "One entered the city like a god. Now you scuttle in underground like a rat." Not the least of the pleasures of going first today is that I can use that line without worrying if somebody else will use it first. In 1969, Vince wrote, in a much less quoted passage, that art history had to be conservative, experimental, and ethical. It was a remarkable trio of words, one that in itself shows Vince's exquisite sensitivity to language. Conservative, because he knew that art history had to respect the past, since learning from the great work of history is central to its purpose. Experimental, because at the same time, Vince wanted to make the point that the real value of understanding the architecture of the past must be to inspire the highest creativity in the present. And ethical, because he believed that the noblest mission of architectural history, at least as he practiced it, was to encourage the building of community and the betterment of civilization. That is Vince's true legacy, his belief that words can change the world.